If you've been eating healthy, but you're still struggling to lose that last couple pounds, then you probably already know what you need to do. You probably already know that it comes down to your diet, but maybe you just don't know where to start. Maybe you don't know what changes that need to be made. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the 3 stages that you need to implement if you actually want to get rid of all the stubborn belly fat and keep it off for good. By the way, this is also the exact 3 stages that I have every single one of my clients go through. So if you're interested in getting a transformation, click the first link down below for one-on-one coaching. So stage 1, the first part of the fat loss process is going to be figuring out your calorie deficit. This is where you're just starting out, and this is where you need to make a change if you actually want to see some progress. So first, go to a TDE calculator, put in your weight, your height, your activity level. This will give you a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. Now, once you find your maintenance calories, you do this by weighing yourself every single day, stepping on the scale, and by the end of the week, you should be able to see if you maintain your weight or if you gain weight or if you lost weight. If you followed this calorie amount and you didn't see a change on the scale and your weight stayed the same, boom, you found your maintenance calories. Now, if you gain weight, well, probably going to want to drop down your calories by 200. This is important because it allows you to see where you need to start from. If you just follow something online and you just slash your calories down and you starve yourself, you're setting yourself up for a harder process, and you're setting yourself up to want to give up earlier, to have all these hard cravings, and to make it harder than it needs to be. So once you get your maintenance calories, drop down your calories by 2 to 500. This is exactly what we did with my client Theo. He started out in his deficit with about 2,000 calories, making sure he could lose about 1 to 2 pounds per week. This kept it sustainable because he wasn't in a huge deficit. He was still able to eat all of his favorite foods, things like In-N-Out. He would go out with his friends and go eat In-N-Out burgers and was still able to lose fat while doing that. So you can absolutely eat your favorite foods and have fast food, something that might be not ideal, as long as you hit your macros and your calories. That's the most important thing. But if you actually want to feel good, you should be focusing on whole foods. So obviously, if you want to lose weight and make it easier and just have more energy, then you need to focus on foods that are higher in micronutrients, that are single ingredients. Things like ground beef, yogurt, Greek yogurt, eggs. For more fiber, sweet potatoes, apples, just any type of fruit. Sometimes you can use things like carb balance wraps. These are a game changer, right? Because you want to find your favorite foods that are in a lower calorie alternative. So for me, I love peanut butter, but peanut butter, it's pretty high in fat. It's pretty hard to fit that into the calorie deficit. So what I do instead is have PB2 powder. This tastes amazing. Sometimes it even tastes better than real peanut butter. That might be a crazy take, but it really hits my craving. The most important thing. Same thing with soda. I'm somebody who really likes Coke and all these sugary drinks. But if you think I'm going to drink real sugary soda, hell no. I'm going to go for Diet Coke, diet drinks, diet root beer. So the macros you should be aiming for is 1 to 1.2 grams of protein. Fats, keep it at 0.3 to zero point 0.5 grams per pound of your body weight. And then fill the rest in with carbs. So here's the thing. You can start with this small calorie deficit and you probably will notice some changes. But the thing is, your metabolism will adapt. And you'll notice the scale weight, it starts to slow down. So you need to make another change. Now, what I highly recommend doing is increasing steps, increasing cardio, but you can only do so much, right? You can't out-train a bad diet. So if you really need to lose those last stubborn pounds, you are going to have to drop down your calories. And this is going to be stage 2, right? This is where you've seen some progress, you've lost some weight, but you need to make that final push. You need to go, you need to push it harder and make some sacrifices. This is also what my client Theo had to do. So he went from 2,000 calories to 1,800. So you don't need to make a drastic change, but you do need to do something, right? And when you drop down your calories, you want it to be coming from mainly carbs, maybe a little bit of fats, but like I said, you want to keep them at that moderate amount. If you go too low, you're going to screw up your hormones. So the carbs are really the best thing to pull from because it's the main energy source. The only issue is less energy you might have throughout your workouts. That's why we want to keep them as high as possible and only drop down your calories and your carbs if you have to. So the main thing that works is just consistency, following through with the plan. There's no special little tricks, no crazy hacks. You just need to show up every day and not fail. And there will be times when you want to give up, when you want to go out and just eat whatever, maybe even binge eat. But I'm telling you right now, you can eat clean Monday through Friday. If you say you're going to go off the rails on the weekend, you are setting yourself back and you're ruining all the hard work that you're putting in. So don't do it. Thug it out. You know, you can enjoy yourself on the weekends, but make sure you're tracking it. Make sure you're not going off plan completely. That's why you can have your favorite foods, but you have to have it in moderation. Have a treat. You know, if you go and drink, have a couple shots of hard liquor, right? Don't have 20 beers. That's the way to go. Now, once you've been able to do it and actually follow through with this plan and lose all the fat, this is where most people mess up because it's so easy to gain all that weight right back. You say, oh, I did it. I got to my goal. I'm lean. I can finally see my abs. Oh, I don't need to diet anymore. I don't need to do cardio anymore. It's time to go on vacation. I want to have drinks. I want to eat fast food again. Sorry, Matt. You still got more work to do. But I'm telling you right now, if you follow this next stage, you are going to look absolutely crazy while eating more food. This next stage is called the reverse dieting phase. This is what I did after my bodybuilding show. So I was still able to maintain my abs, but I was actually getting leaner and bigger at the same time. Why? Because I'm still in a deficit. I didn't immediately go back up to my maintenance calories, and this made it easier to lose fat because I was building more muscle at the same time, boosting my metabolism. This is why you need to weight train and you need to follow a split that focuses on the muscle groups you want to grow, and you need to do progressive overload and actually get strong so you can eat more food and basically just level up your physique, get bigger, look the way you want to look, because nobody wants to get lean and have a six pack if you have no muscle mass. That's why you need to do these things like a lean bulk. That's this reverse dieting phase is going to prepare you for that lean bulk. The way to do it is slowly increase your calories right back up the way you dropped them down when you were in this cutting phase. All right. So each week I would increase your calories by 2 to 500. And as you do this, again, make sure it's mainly coming from carbs. Once you do this, the reverse dieting phase should only be 4 to 6 weeks. Once you get back up to your maintenance calories, you really shouldn't have gained weight this whole time. Maybe 2 pounds or so, but that can happen all the time, right? Like your weight fluctuate 1 to 2 pounds randomly. Could be through sleep, could be through stress. The main thing is you don't want to put on 20 pounds after your cut. All right. If you follow this approach, you'll be able to build as much muscle as possible while staying lean. And then once you get to your maintenance calories, you can decide if you want to maintain and stay where you're at and just live comfortably, and maybe you're happy with where you're at. But if you want to get even more huge and build more of a foundation, get even bigger and more freaking jacked, then yeah, you'll want to lean bulk. But the thing is, this is where it gives you that flexibility to the point where you can stay lean and keep staying lean year round, right? Where most people fuck up is they don't do this reverse dieting phase. They don't have a proper plan. Remember, it always comes down to your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Are you doing it just to be the best version of yourself so you can look in the mirror and love what you see? Are you doing it to make people impressed by you, to have more status, to just become a more disciplined version of yourself and have more confidence? That is why it's so important. Think about how your life could completely change if you follow through with these stages, where exactly you would be at, what things you could do with this next level physique, right? It's not just about getting in shape. It's about what being in shape does for you. That's why it's so important. And if you want more help with this, figuring out how to go through each stage, fast tracking your progress, then apply for coaching in the first link in the description. I appreciate the support, boys. If you have more questions, hit me up on Instagram. I reply to all my DMs. Like, subscribe. Peace, chat.